Out there, guys. Hope you are doing well out there under the dome where we have monkeypox, we have wars, we have illnesses, we have everything. Aren't we so lucky? So as promised, guys, this is the first video of a number of videos and some guests as well that I've got lined up where at this stage we are, or I am, presenting different ideas to people as to where we might go or what to do when that time comes when we pass over. Probably the most important question that we could ever ask ourselves ever in this lifetime. And so my gut feeling, and this has always been my gut feeling, is that if you have a strong intention to leave when you pass, then you will find yourself there. Your spirit, your soul will take you there, or your consciousness will take you there. But it's good to have strategies. It's good to have ideas. It's good to know potentially what we are dealing with and what we may come up against. And so this is what I aim to bring to you guys. Obviously, it's your choice in what you do and how you do it, what decision that you make. Basically, I'm facilitating, along with the information that I'm putting out, which I feel is as accurate as it can be, ideas for you, and then obviously you make your own decision. But me personally, I've always felt that it's intention, setting the strong intention before you pass, and obviously when you pass. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at different ideas as we go along over the next couple of weeks. So before I get into today's video, guys, don't forget, hit the like, subscribe if you're new around here. Guys, don't forget, if you would like to work with me or you want to take my course, check out my website, transcendingtimes.org. I have a feeling that the course may develop also, as well as energy training, clearing entities, probably may go into the direction of astral travel and lucid dreaming at some point as well. That's just what I'm feeling. So come join us, guys. It's a community as well. So yeah, but without further ado, let's get into today's video, which is about the net above the dome, which maybe is the energetic version of the dome. And we're going to watch a couple of clips here and just talk about it at the end, or maybe in between, however it plays out. So let's have a start here.
What the? Bro, you ain't tripping, bro. There's a grid in the sky, bro. What way, bro?
So obviously here people are reporting actually seeing grid lines. Now, I guess there could be people out there that may say that these are left from planes, and we know what they're doing with planes, but it definitely looks grid-like. You know, when you look at it here, it's almost exactly adjacent to each other. So,
what the?
People are seeing these strange grid lines in the sky. And while some of these lines in a grid-like pattern are clearly chemtrails, others aren't so easily explained away. These sky grids are usually seen in areas of high altitude or in very rural areas. However, they've also appeared in populated areas as well. As it so often goes with inexplicable phenomena,
I do feel like the veil is lifting, literally. I've watched several videos now where they're saying that both dimensions are almost merging into one, which explains a lot of the sightings that are out. I'm on TikTok, and there's a lot of weird stuff that people are reporting seeing at the moment. I'm not saying that it's all true, but definitely feels like we're living in times where the veils are lifting, literally. So this is just an extension of that. This was taken in 2019. grid pattern is visible in front of a dark cloud. That definitely looks like a grid, almost like a snakes and ladders board. It's impossible for a grid pattern to be a natural sky phenomenon, of course. This shows that the sky is being simulated. The grid pattern is more apparent below the dark cloud as being used in an attempt to hide the cloud.
Has been completely ignored by the mainstream media and government. This grid pattern is sometimes seen by those under the influence of psychoactive substances, particularly magic mushrooms, LSD, DMT, and ayahuasca. I don't dismiss these accounts because these substances are able to take people into states of consciousness beyond the typical five-sense level of reality, which is why occultists and shamans use certain plant medicines and potions to experience unseen realms and to gain insight and knowledge. Please note this video is not advocating drug use. There are some drugs in which there is absolutely no insight or knowledge to be gained. These drugs do nothing but open you up to malevolent entities and oftentimes leave your life completely in ruin.
Just to add on to that, so will ayahuasca, so will DMT, so will all the other ones mentioned. So yeah, you can, as I've said in my videos before, you can get insights into the realms of this matrix, but you're really playing Russian roulette in terms of the stuff that it could open you up to. So for me, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, but you do you. There we go. I'm glad that they put that in there.
According to artist Alex Gray, who's known for creating spiritual and psychedelic paintings, he saw a quote-unquote infinite regress of electric grids emanating from his mind that spanned down to the horizon into space. He saw this grid after taking LSD. This is important because he mentions that the grid is emanating from him, or rather his consciousness, meaning that his
I've got to share an insight with you. Oh my God, this is so timely. I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience whereby you'll be sleeping or you'll be just drifting off, and it feels like, I'm so glad that this has come up again. I watched this video about 2 weeks ago, but it reminded me of this because this has since happened in between. The other night I was sleeping, and I don't know whether I was just drifting off or I was kind of waking up, but it felt like my consciousness had hit like an AI barrier. There was like almost a sound of like, I'm going to try and make the sound, but it was like that. That was the best way I could describe it. And when I asked what that was, I was told it's a grid, just like there is a grid around the planet, or the plane, or the dome, or whatever, right? So with my intention, I cleared the grid. I was almost like half between sleep and awake as I was doing this, and I cleared the grid from me energetically. So I'm wondering if there is a grid above, and this is all speculation. I'm not saying that maybe what I was intuiting there, or the message that came through from my own consciousness, maybe I'm not saying it was 100% accurate, but it definitely came from me, and I wasn't trying to connect with any entities or anything, and it felt like my consciousness had hit like this AI grid. So I'm speculating here that there may be some kind of grid within us, but then also the grid above the dome. So I just wanted to share with you, like, make of that of you what you will. You use your own discernment as always, but that's what I feel. I feel like there's an energetic grid within us and above what is probably the dome.
Or rather the collective consciousness of us all is responsible for keeping this grid in place. Keep this in mind as we will expound on this more later on.
And I'm not saying the Earth's a ball. Don't get up in the comments. Oh, it's not a planet. I know. I'm not making these visuals, right? But she's just saying there that maybe it's our consciousness that is holding the grid up. And one of the solutions I think she's going to present is that for the grid to come down, we have to wake up. There needs to be this mass awakening. So that would be one solution, if you like, that's on the table. We need, well, I would say not everyone, because there's a lot of NPCs here, but we would need many of the soul players to quote unquote wake up, where that grid starts to weaken and maybe it comes down.
It is also relevant to point out that many of the comments on Gray's post also mentioned that they had seen the grid as well, usually either while meditating or on some psychedelic substance. In fact, seeing the sky grid while on psychedelic drugs is an extremely common occurrence, and you won't have to look hard to find these accounts. Nevertheless, most people write these experiences off as nothing more than drug-induced hallucinations, which is understandable since most people don't understand how these substances can allow you to access unseen realms, which are always there, but we usually aren't able to see. But here's the thing. This strange grid in the sky...
Also, as well, just on the other flip side of that, I know it can be tempting, but you have to remember as well, many of us at this level where we're at right now, we're at the forefront of finding out, like, I would say, like, the deepest secrets about stuff. So if you're going to go and smash your consciousness open with DMT or ayahuasca, those entities are going to be all over, like, they're going to have your card marked, is what I'm trying to say. So again, I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just, giving you the whole story on it, the bigger picture, because they don't always tell you about that side of things.
Has been seen by people who are completely sober as well, and not under the influence of anything. In fact, on Reddit alone, there are many accounts of people all over the world seeing this grid, most of whom are completely confused as to what they are seeing. And even stranger still, this phenomenon has been caught on video, making its existence undeniable. So, what is this bizarre grid pattern in the sky? While it's out there in the public consciousness, in card games, movies, and video games, it's never actually been discussed. It's the concept of soul traps, or more specifically in this case, the soul net. The soul net, also known...
So this is very interesting, just this animation here. This to me looks like the soul tunnels that NDEs experience and astral travelers have experienced, where there's like a tunnel where there's souls going from one direction and souls going to another direction. And I would speculate that some are coming to the earth and some are leaving the earth. Some are, I can't remember exactly, but one NDE I remember looking at was very, very hesitant to go into one of these tunnels. He didn't want to go in there. So whatever these tunnels are, these tubes, soul tubes almost, it looks like, it's almost like queuing up for the shopping, right? It's just so sad. But this guy is trying to get out of the soul net here. I think he actually makes it out in a minute. Let's see, because you know how they tell us stuff in films, right? I don't know where this animation has come from, if someone's just made it up or if it's actually from a film, but it's very powerful.
Frequency fence is an electromagnetic grid around the Earth which fences off the simulated universe from the real universe. And while some details from various researchers or theories will vary, they all have the same common message and theme. A parasitic extraterrestrial race that has been feeding off the negative emotions of humans has set up an electromagnetic net around the simulated universe, or specifically, planet Earth. This frequency fence is designed to stop souls from leaving the matrix. This electromagnetic energy matrix is also there to prevent humans from accessing higher levels of consciousness and disconnecting us from the real universe. This grid is not to be confused with the natural energetic grid of ley lines of planet Earth. We're going to explore some of these theories, and I'll let you come to your own conclusion. It's called ultra-relativistic when its speed is very close to the speed of light. This is important because the speed of light are the walls to the simulation. The speed of light is not the fastest speed. It is the fastest speed that matter can travel before leaving this frequency range, or rather, frequency prison. Once you go beyond the speed of light, you leave the matrix. So now the question is this so-called force field around the Earth really protecting us, or is it actually protecting the matrix? The research of Peggy Kane. Peggy Kane was a host on public access TV in the 90s. She's also a UFO researcher and former New Ager. She describes this grid as a frequency net around the planet that holds us in.
So when you talk about spirit people leaving their bodies, being propelled and dumped on their way out, you said they bumped their heads on the net. What do you mean by that?
Well,
she don't look all there. Just saying, she looks kind of like hypnotized.
when they try to get out of your body, it's like a Faraday cage. And when Robert Monroe was put into a Faraday cage, he could astral travel. But in the Faraday cage, when he got out of his body, he would hit that, and his astral body could not go through the Faraday cage, which was electrified. And this is what's happened. And what happens is they may project out to a certain point if they're pretty aware, and then they'll hit the barrier.
I have had people say that there was one comment of a woman, I can't remember, she had an astral projection or something, and she said that she hit a barrier, she could only go so far, but she didn't talk about being electrocuted or anything like that. What's this say? A Faraday cage is conducted in enclosure container and barrier that prevents the entry or escape of electromagnetic fields. Kane compares a soul net, which is frequency barriers, function similarly to that of a Faraday cage around the planet.
Frequency fence was put up by reptilians who had rearranged the DNA of humans to limit our field's frequency band so they can feed off of our negative emotions. This frequency fence around the Earth also made it difficult for frequencies of light and frequencies of information to penetrate.
Yeah, it seems like a double-edged sword. There's these frequencies that we're supposed to connect to with our DNA, which are being shut off. And also, it's obviously designed to keep us out as well. So,
The research of Wes Penray. According to the Wes Penray theory, we are spiritual.
see, that's how I would imagine it more. But yeah, Wes Penry, I used to listen to a lot of his stuff, and I like a lot of it, but he starts talking about Orion a lot, going to Orion, and that doesn't resonate with me personally. I think she even mentions that here as well, but I already came to that realization. So it's really like sifting through so much stuff to feel what's true and what's not. And again, I'm not saying that, you know, he might be right, and I'm not saying that even if he's not right, I'm not saying that he's got bad intentions, but it's so important to kind of tune into that frequency of truth.
Beings that were manipulated into entering these physical and dense vessels that we call human bodies. This trapped us in the limited frequency band known as the third dimension. Once we were locked into this frequency, we got trapped in a hologram created by an extraterrestrial group, most commonly known as the Anunnaki, but which he refers to as the Alien Invader Force, or AIF for short. This hologram consists of everything we can perceive with our five senses and is a low-resolution copy of the spiritual universe, aka the real universe. This
I
hologram
definitely feel that it's copied, for sure. That's what AI does. It replicates.
Copy of the real universe is what we perceive as physical, but is actually the simulated universe or matrix system. And while the simulated universe is extremely convincing to us since we are trapped in a limited frequency band, all it is a virtual reality or a software program. The real universe is a universe that we cannot experience while living in this holographic copy. Penrose states that the only hint of the real universe's existence is what we call dark energy and dark matter, which together consist of about 96% of the universe. The other 4% is a hologram in which we are currently trapped in. The purpose of this simulated universe/hologram is to keep us enslaved and feed in the AIF. Saturn, and in my opinion the moon as well, is the key to keeping the hologram in place.
Absolutely.
Saturn transmits distorted sound frequencies, which through advanced technology is how the frequency prison and grid around the planet has been able to exist. These frequencies can be heard on NASA videos.
Nasty. I mean, it just sounds demonic.
However, because some humans have been raising our consciousness to a level where we partly vibrate outside the limited frequency band we call the third dimension, there are now holes in this frequency fence. Penrose states that the grid is no longer a fully intact electromagnetic field because of this, but rather resembles Swiss cheese. These holes in the grid act like portals which take us directly out of the matrix and into the real universe, escaping through the holes in the net. In order to escape through these holes in the grid, we need to first ignore any spirit guides or entities that approach us upon bodily death.
Absolutely.
Instead, we need to realize that we now have 360-degree vision and look directly upwards where we will see the grid. The grid may look solid or fuzzy depending on our level of clarity outside the body. However, this is not important.
I would even go as far to say to set your intention to take you to a hole in the grid rather than even looking. I think, as I've said before, intention in that dimension, it's instant. You can create instantly, and wherever your attention goes, literally, that's where you'll be taken. So if this is true and there are holes in the grid and that's the true way out, then I believe, again, it would just be a case of setting intention.
But the grid, look for any holes in it, which Penrose says should be apparent almost instantly. Pick one of these holes and concentrate fully on it. Fully concentrate while having the intention of going through it and out into the real universe. This is where focusing is of utmost importance, as you must not get distracted by any fake spirit guides or holographic projections of deceased loved ones who are there to lure us into the false light tunnel.
So damn cruel, the way they use loved ones. Part of me still can't get over the fact that they could be so evil as to use someone's dead father or dead mother, but it is what it is.
They will try to distract you, which is why daily meditation and looking inward is important. According to Penray, once on the other side of the grid, you will see the universe the way it really looks like. You will probably see something that looks similar to what he describes as a luminous spider's web, where the web consists of highways and trade routes between star systems and galaxies. What we call dark space will now be lit up and occupied. Once in the real universe, you can go wherever you choose, and you can call upon your human soul group, which Penray states is located in Orion.
Yeah, I don't know why. When he started talking about that, I completely lost interest. I don't know why. Like I say, he could be wrong. Oh, sorry, he could be right. But this woman here, I don't know who this narrator is. She does a really good job of this, but she also felt the same. So something may be off with that.
So now the obvious question is, if the AIF is aware of these holes, and they must be, why aren't these holes actively being repaired? Henry answers this by saying that the AIF didn't anticipate humans discovering what these holes in the grid actually were and where they lead to. And even if they are repairing the holes in the grid, as more humans are waking up and the level of our collective consciousness rises, these holes will remain intact or new holes will form. In addition, they know that people are going to do what's most familiar to them.
I do feel that that's true. I feel that as our consciousness expands and we have a group intention of not wanting to be slaves anymore, because we are the creators, right? This is the point that I'm gonna completely be banging on about over the next few weeks. We are the powerful ones. We are the creative ones. We have that fractal of essence within us. And a single soul can do a lot, but a group intention can do a huge amount, I believe. And maybe part of this grid structure, it needs our consciousness to maintain it. And maybe these holes, if they exist, right? I'm not saying that they definitely do. I'm just putting ideas out there for people to sift through themselves, and hopefully it will come to a more accurate answers ultimately. But I do feel that we somewhat, with our consciousness, maybe have maintained that grid. And like she says, the more people that are waking up, the grid's losing its strength. We know that they're trying to do all kinds of stuff to like block out the sun, and there's certain, I feel, frequencies coming from the sun that are helping us, and maybe that's part of the dismantling of it, is just our awakening of the collective consciousness.
That is following a fake spirit guide or deceased loved one into the tunnel of light and getting recycled again. He compares this to a bird that has been caged all its life, but will stay in the cage, even when the door of the cage has now been opened. At this point, the evidence of the frequency fence is undeniable. Many people have not only seen it, but there is also video evidence of it. And while these theories vary on how we got here, the core message remains consistent. Earth is a prison planet, and this prison is held together by certain frequencies. There is a reason why they want us to continually generate negative emotions, because those are the frequencies that are holding this grid in place and keep us imprisoned and away from the real universe. And just like Alex Gray realized that this grid was emanating from him first before it manifested upon the horizon, we must also realize that it starts with us. Meaning, while they can transmit these dissonant frequencies from Saturn to keep the hologram in place and trap us in a limited frequency band, ultimately we are the ones responsible for holding it in place with our collective consciousness and group subconscious. We must all continue to awaken and elevate our collective consciousness so we no longer vibrate at the frequency that is holding us prisoners.
Yeah, that's basically, I think she explained it better than I did. Yeah, it's the organically raising our frequency, not the new age version of sitting under a tree singing Kumbaya. And then that will ultimately move us out of this denseness that they've created.
Starts with you. Meditate often and do what you know to be right, regardless of consequences. Embrace love, joy, peace, and all the frequencies that will break down this frequency prison, because ultimately that's all it is.
So guys, that video, I don't agree with absolutely everything. There's a lot to unpack there, but I do feel that she, and from the content that she puts in the video, it does explain the frequency fence or the net that is around the planet, or the realm, or whatever you want to call it. People are right into my face when I say planet. I don't want a planet. I think we pretty much know that there is a grid or a fence around this place. So the questions are there these holes within the fence? A lot of people are reporting seeing them. So if that's the case, then surely an option would be to find one of these holes and make our way out. And when we make our way out, do we, like Wes Penray say, do we automatically go into the real universe? You would imagine if it was like imagine a farm and you've got sheep in a pen. Once they get out of the pen, they're able to roam wherever they want. So maybe it's like that. I'm very cautious to actually pin my nails to the mast over absolutely anything. As I started off this video, I believe the intention, the simple intention, and connecting with the soul when we leave I believe that we will know the way in which to get out. So I'm not overly worried. I'm just, as I say, throwing ideas out there. So we know we have this fence. Are there holes in the fence? Sounds like there are holes in the fence. How those holes got there is up for debate. There's even other theories that other human souls have made their way out. The woman there described that maybe there's like a Faraday cage when you hit the fence. I don't know about that, and maybe our true power would transcend that anyway. You can create weapons in the astral, so maybe you could create like a dagger and create a hole in the fabric of the matrix, the fence, using your energetic strength. So yeah, these are all, like I say, all theories right now. And like I say, I'm going to be having a guest on the channel that's got some very interesting theories on how to get out of this place. So yeah, this is just one of a few videos that I'm going to put out. So yeah, I hope this helps. Like I say, I know it doesn't give 100% foolproof, bulletproof answers right now, but I think it's good to speculate and to put this information out there so we can talk about it and discuss it and see what conclusions that we draw to it all. So I'd be very interested to receive your comments on this video. Tell me what you think about the grid and your ideas about it, because it's important. I value your opinions, and we're all in this together. And so yeah, if you like the video, please give it a like, share this video around, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.